Good afternoon, or a cool, grey and cloudy day. It is Monday the 23rd of October. I've got a nice hot cup of tea. And I've got a box to continue unboxing. Because one of the things I recently purchased and did an unboxing of was Delta Force, which is a role-playing game of an elite anti-terrorist commando unit published by, written by William H. Keith and published by Task Force Games, one of the couple of role-playing games that Task Force Games published in the 80s. And in addition to the core rulebook, the core rules, the box also contained a copy of the Delta Green Companion. So, you're the final option. Whenever you attempt to bring the crisis situation to an end in a civilized manner has failed, your Delta Force team will be called in to settle the problem, one way or another. This is what you have to continue trained and improve your skills for. But negotiation always comes first. Negotiating can be a legitimate attempt to defuse the situation or merely serve as a diversion while final assault plans are readied. In any event, once negotiations have failed and you get the order to go, the problem will be taken care of by Delta Force. The Delta Force Companion contains rules for negotiating with terrorists and for diplomacy, including dossiers on several countries in and around the Middle East most likely to be involved in the terrorist wars. New character roles include tertiary stats, improvement of skills through training, recovery from wounds, character backgrounds, and new skills. Rules for simplified combat and support weapons in combat are included, as well as new equipment, new counter-terrorist templates, an extensive list of known terrorist organisations, and a series of scenarios which can be played independently or as a mini-campaign. So, as I say, this is for Delta Force, role-playing game in which America strikes back. So I'm just thinking, sort of like, I don't think about it, that Task Force Games produced 3 role-playing games that spring to mind. One is this, Delta Force. The other is Crime Fighter, which you've already seen me doing an unboxing of. That's the role-playing game of policing and crime. And the other one was Prime Directive, which is their version of the Star Trek role-playing game. So, inside this we have an introduction and new character rules. There are lots of new tertiary character stats, such as determination, speech, appearance, rationality, attitude, and so on. Recent experience, or REX, and then improving REX with training, improving REX on missions, and then skills gained from REX from recent experience. Detailed character backgrounds, so time in service, rank, terms of service, all sort of like, based upon the American military. We've got the equivalent of enlisted ranks as well. Other types of characters for other types of operations, so hostage rescue, preemptive strike, intelligence raids, and the like. So it's discussing, basically opening up against sort of like two other types of play apart from just sort of like doing kind of strike missions or rescue missions. Then we've got a list of new character skills. Management, fast talk, instruction, gunsmith, persuasion, surgery, and so on, safe cracking, all things that kind of wouldn't normally seem to matter, but obviously they're now putting them in extra. Possible careers and changing careers, and the discussions, sort of like quick discussions of espionage, scouts, similar options, covert agents. We've got a list of careers and skills there, and combat rules, simplifying the combat rules, because the main thing in Delta Force is it's quite predicated on the combat, because that's a big part of doing a mission, shooting the terrorists. So simplified combat rules, including simplified hit determination, noise. We've got a noise table there, and then we get on to large scale combat. And this then is, so this is scaling it up So you can probably do sort of like larger military engagements, and have that go on around them, and come down to combat calculations down there, and then possible casualties, and you have potential outcomes listed in these tables depending upon the results. So, 16 or less is a complete disaster. The attacker is thrown back with heavy losses to the attacker and no casualties to the defender. Ranges between 19 or more, the battle ends, the defender's morale value drops to 0, and as survivors surrender or flee. Attacker, no casualties. Defender takes a fair percentage of casualties. And then we move on to support weapons, explanation of support weapon descriptions. Don't seem to be listing any of those there. Area fire, walking fire, direct fire weapons. So again, sort of like scaling up the types of weapons that will be involved in a conflict. And this includes indirect fire weapons and air support. And then we've got sort of like a quick. There's the air support. There's the support weapons table. And the combat results, and we have the same thing. We can do the same thing for vehicles, including rules here for vehicle combat. So you can sort of like expand it out, So it's not just sort of like you go to this mission, do this, go home. You can have time in country, cover what might happen, and turn it into sort of like more of a narrative kind of story, as well as all the action and the combat. And then we put it back. And we have behind the scenes politics, and this is dealing with diplomacy and negotiations and possible terrorist responses. We've got a list there of the types of terrorist demands, and basically negotiable major concessions, negotiable minor concessions. And time passage for how long these take, so they can be going on sort of like as well as the player characters are preparing for a mission. And then we have the Delta Force Companion War Book, so you've got more details of different weapons in there, all going to be based around, it's going to be very 1980s and quite familiar from your action movies back then. So your special weapons, you've got a lot of basically miniguns and chain guns and recorder's rifles and the like. Then we've got a full skills list. And then we get on to some locations. So we've got a Vienna Conference Centre, essentially here where the negotiations might be held, or you might have a hostage situation, and we've got a map a fairly rough map of Libya and Benghazi Airport. So different locations which can be brought into play in a scenario. So a warehouse compound, terrorist complex. Then we've got an oil rig, because that's a classic one for being taken over by terrorists. Delta Force record sheet. And we've still got continuing more equipment, including light rocket launchers, mortars, and then we have aircraft, helicopters, miscellaneous equipment, continue the rules for negotiation, different types of assault. You can do like a hey-ho assault, high altitude, high opening assaults, as opposed to a high altitude, low opening assault. Healing and recovery, dossiers on different organisations around the country, different nations. Just very quick thumbnail overviews. And this is the sort of information you really wouldn't have very much access to very much information back in the 1980s. And this, the player characters would need, and the game master would make do with this, and then go to the library. more anti-terrorist organisation templates. And there's something else in there as well. We have dossier updates on threats, so different terrorist organisations, because there were a lot of them. So we've got a dossier update on Carlos the Jackal, and then Libyan terrorist training camps, Palestinian terrorist training camp. I mean, it's very much sort of kind of like a game of its time. Before we get into scenarios, Operation Blue Danube, there, and different missions that they can undertake. Oh, I'm getting a visit, and here we have a visit from the cat who is not ours. Just turn it around. There we go. All right, he's okay. If you want to get down, you can. Oh, he's not happy. He's not happy with me. All right. I'll have to feed him in a minute. So yes, bit of interruption here, but it's fine. I've almost finished the video. So different missions. He's just tempted to, just snap at me, which he normally doesn't. So he's in a very grumpy mood. He's a very normally placid cat. So sorry about that. I better push him off me because he's a bit impatient, and I just want to get this video done. So different missions in here, so on. So that wraps up the Delta Force Companion, which expands upon the core game. And if you're looking for sort of like another 1980s military combat game, this perhaps would be a choice where you're not going off doing exploring a post-apocalyptic setting like Twilight 2000. Anyway, so hope you've enjoyed this unboxing, interrupted by the cat, whom I'm going to go see to and make up with in a second. If you did, then please do click on the like button down below. And of course, if you've got any comments or feedback, I do appreciate you taking the time to post those. And lastly, if you want to be alerted to get more unboxings of the Nook, where you'll see me out here, typically with a box like that, which I'll unbox and then and pull out a game or book which I'll chat about to the best extent of my knowledge for roughly 10 minutes or so, all of course accompanied by a nice hot cup of tea. Then please do click on the subscribe button down below. Thanks again for watching another unboxing of the Nook. Be back again soon with another one. Bye for now.